Australian desert, a dry and desolate wasteland, hell on earth. In these parts, only the toughest survive. Heat and dehydration kill indiscriminately, and the wildlife is armed and dangerous. Out here, it's everyone for themselves. These are the case files of Australia's notorious desert killers. In this lineup of unusual suspects, the agenda is kill or be killed. While some offenders plead self-defence, others are guilty as charged. Notorious fiends that cheat, swindle and kill for a living. The Australian desert is a realm of cold-blooded killers. There are more reptiles in the Australian desert than anywhere else on Earth. Lizards and snakes have been vying for supremacy here for eons. A biological arms race that has given rise to a weapon of terrifying efficiency: venom. This barren landscape is home to some of the world's deadliest snakes. But there can only be one king: the mulga snake, otherwise known as the king brown. Measuring nearly 10 feet long, this large male is on the hunt. Out here, prey is scarce, so he does what he must to survive. Lording over his close relatives, Australia's largest venomous snake has developed a taste for reptilian flesh. He uses inside knowledge of his victims to gain an edge, such as knowing that reptiles need to bask in the sun to warm up. The mulga's flickering tongue has picked up a scent trail. He's locked onto a target and is relentless in his pursuit. Maintaining his focus, he's not distracted by the presence of nearby lizards. He's tracking a much more substantial meal. This is a western brown snake, one of the world's top 10 venomous snakes, and usually treated with healthy respect by most predators. But in addition to his own chemical weapons, the mulga also possesses chemical defences. Within his biological arsenal, he carries a genetic resistance to snake venom. A bite from even the deadliest of snakes has little effect. So the western brown poses no threat. Sensing the peril, it attempts to flee. In desperation, it tries to conceal itself within a nearby hole, but the mulga uses his size and strength to block the only exit to what now becomes a tomb. To ensure a quick and efficient kill, the venom output of the mulga is higher than any other snake on Earth. As he devours his 5-foot-long meal, each chewing action delivers yet another dose of deadly toxins. A killer of killers, The mulga snake is a snake's worst nightmare. The mulga may lord over even the deadliest of snakes within this barren realm. But the king brown is not the only monarch in these parts. An ancient reptilian rival stalks the desert plains, drooling over its victims before moving in for the kill. Meet Australia's largest and toughest lizard. Weighing in at around 33 pounds and measuring over 9 feet long, the Parenti is the lizard king. A formidable apex predator that few animals dare to tangle with. This large male is a notorious desert stalker. And he's hungry. He's using his highly tuned senses to forage in the grass. His eyes are shaded from the sun and sensitive to the slightest of movements. Licking the air with his tongue, he tastes the faint chemical trace of prey. Nothing much escapes his attention. Most of the time, he makes do with small rodents. Out here in Australia's barren interior, potential meals are few and far between. So he's not above scavenging. But such a big, active hunter sometimes needs a more substantial meal. A Parenti of his size will actively hunt wombats and even lone dingoes. Most reptiles wouldn't even dream of taking on a red kangaroo. But the Parenti isn't most reptiles. He can do something other lizards can't. Parentis can run and breathe at the same time. He has a large breathing tube and strong neck muscles that act like bellows to keep him well oxygenated, even at high speed. The Parenti is one of the fastest of all reptiles. He can maintain speeds of around 25 miles an hour for more than half a mile, making him a very efficient endurance hunter. Even so, a kangaroo is no easy target. His best chance is to launch a surprise attack. He focuses on the weakest and most vulnerable within the mob. This predator's festering mouth oozes more than drool. It's recently been discovered that the bite of the parenti is venomous. Anticoagulants contained within the venom induce a collapse in blood pressure, and dizziness soon subdues the victim. Selecting an unwary target, his approach is silent. But the desert community is always alert to stalkers. The chase is on, a contest of speed and agility. On the open plain, the kangaroo would be much faster. But while navigating the low desert scrub, it struggles to reach top speed. But ultimately, the parenti is outclassed. There's little shame in being outrun by this iconic Australian sprinter. But the parenti turns his attention to a very different challenge. He's crossed paths with the recently fed mulga snake. As one of the most venomous snakes on the planet, the mulga is a real threat to most reptiles. But the parenti stands his ground. The snake poses little threat to him. He's too big. And thanks to eons of coevolution, parentis have also developed a resistance to snake venom. So it's the mulga snake that finds itself in peril. And the parenti doesn't hesitate. It's a sizable meal that will provide this unscrupulous predator with enough energy to stalk his next victim. While some stalk, others cheat. Why waste valuable energy in chasing prey when gullible victims can be lured to their deaths? The desert is full of swindlers, but none is more crafty than the sly and ruthless death adder. His name says it all. Like the mulga, the death adder is among the world's deadliest snakes. But rather than pursue his meals at top speed across the desert as the parenti does, he sits and hides and waits for his meals to come to him. The soft desert colours of the death adder's 2-foot-long body blend in perfectly with his arid surroundings. Lying motionless, his disconcerting eyes scan the horizon for potential victims. This wandering skink has no idea he's there. When it comes to launching his lethal attack, surprise is everything. For a successful kill, He needs to entice the skink to within optimum striking distance. Ever the swindler, this crafty desert con artist unveils a secret weapon. Slightly flattened and darker in colour, the tip of his tail seems to have a life of its own. When the snake twitches it, it looks just like a tasty, wriggling grub. This cunning optical illusion creates an irresistible honey trap for a hungry skink. But the curious skink remains just out of range. So cold and calculating, the death adder slowly moves the lure closer to his head. His trap is now set. Mesmerized, the skink succumbs to temptation. It's the fastest strike of all Australian snakes. A lethal dose of fast-acting neurotoxins delivers a swift end, leaving this clinical desert con artist to quietly devour his home-delivered meal. The death adder is not the only master of disguise in the Australian desert. It's been said that the greatest trick that the devil ever performed was to convince others that he doesn't exist. The thorny devil is a prickly customer with a knack for blending in. Prowling the arid wasteland is a terror of the outback. A serial killer that lays waste to countless prey at every meal. This beast is the stuff of nightmares. At least that's how the ants of the outback perceive the thorny devil, otherwise known as Moloch horridus. Meet a true desert monster. He looms over the ants upon which he gorges. Yet he's only a modest 4 inches from head to tail. Rather than use up energy in the desert heat chasing after prey, he strategically positions himself along ant trails, letting his meal come to him. He devours thousands of ants in a single sitting, and as ants are present all year round, he doesn't go hungry. But he's not the only predator here. The desert is full of hunters much larger than him. To avoid predation, he must avoid detection. He blends in with his surroundings. A devilish trickster and master of disguise. With all the swagger of a punk rocker, He sways as he walks, mimicking the movement of wind-swept leaves, which helps to conceal his presence from aerial assailants. But sometimes the deceit of the devil lets him down. He has to defend himself. For this, he wears impressive spiky armour. He also has a fatty growth on the back of his neck that looks like his head, just enough to fool a predator and shield his real head. A cunning deception designed to buy him time. Eventually, even the most dogged of predators would surely realise that this meal presents more pain than gain. Deceit and deception, smoke and mirrors. Sometimes it's the things we can't see that frighten us the most. Under the dim light of a full moon, giant huntsman spiders prowl in the dark. And hungry ghost bats watch on from the shadows. There's very little shelter in the desert, so a cave is a precious sanctuary. It's a tempting refuge for some of the desert's creatures, but a hunting ground for others. A den of iniquity. One of the more terrifying residents, the cave huntsman spider. This spider is huge. It has a leg span of 6 inches. It doesn't build a web. It chases down prey. Insects, lizards, frogs, and even sometimes small mammals. It's one of the fastest spiders in the world. Without a web to detect prey, the hairs on its legs pick up vibrations in the air, and sharp vision helps to pinpoint a victim. A dunnart. These rodent-sized nocturnal marsupials have yet to leave their daytime retreat. The spider singles out a target, but the setting sun has stirred other terrors within the cave. Ghost bats awaken with murderous appetites. And they've also noticed the tasty morsels scampering across the cave floor. Also known as the false vampire bat, the ghost bat is named for its pale colour and thin wing membranes. A ghost in the night. It's the largest echolocating bat in Australia, with sharp teeth to rip and tear the flesh off its victims, which include birds, rodents, and other bats. Its big ears provide long-range hearing to find prey. Roosting in the roof of the cave, it quickly devours the dunnart, leaving little but fur and bones. In the desert, nothing goes to waste. Cheated out of a potential meal, the spider won't go hungry for long. It's identified another victim. Quickly subdued by the spider's venom, the unfortunate cricket is eaten alive. In these parts, hiding in the shadows is no safe bet. One way to deter unwanted attention is to just be disgusting. One repugnant reptile keeps predators at bay by smelling worse than death. The spiny-tailed gecko. Once it gets dark, a hunter of the night is ready to emerge from the branches. She's spent all day basking in the safety of the treetops. She only comes down to the ground to hunt. Spiny-tailed geckos can see perfectly well in the dark. Nocturnal geckos are unusual. They're one of the few creatures that can see colour at night. She can do this because she has special cells in her eyes, cones that respond to different wavelengths of light and are more than 350 times more sensitive than human colour vision. This sensitive colour vision is just right for hunting in the dark. But there are others who can also see at night. This 25-inch long creature might look like a snake, but it's actually a Burton's legless lizard. It's a predator. Its eyesight is good, but when hunting, it only reacts to movement. As long as the gecko keeps perfectly still, she won't be noticed. The gecko returns to the hunt. This giant centipede would be an ideal meal. But there's a problem. She's been seen by another predator. This time, it is a snake, a highly venomous one, the ringed brown snake. This snake doesn't rely as much on vision as scent, tasted by its flickering tongue. Keeping stock still won't save the gecko now, but her night vision is so sensitive that she can tell the difference between the snake and the legless lizard, even in the dark. So she employs another defense. She secretes a foul-smelling liquid from glands in her tail. The pungent odour completely overwhelms the snake's sense of smell. A powerful deterrent. Once the threat is gone, she settles for a quick beetle snack before retreating to the safety of her tree. While the spiny-tailed gecko finds refuge in the treetops, for others, the canopy harbours unseen dangers. With nocturnal predators lurking, crimes of passion play out amongst the branches. Under a full moon, the silence of the cool desert night is broken by the sounds of serenading insects looking for a mate. But not all of these insect songs are designed to find a partner. some have a more sinister tone. A spotted predatory katydid. Also known as bush crickets, some katydids are happy munching on leaves, but not this one. It looks like an alien from a sci-fi movie. It's covered in sharp spines and armed with equally sharp jaws. And it has long antennae that can sense the slightest movement in the dark. Every bit an alien predator. Its victims are cicadas. After dark, male cicadas call to females, who respond with a chirp, so the male can find its mate. Each species of cicada has its own song and answering call. The spotted predatory katydid has cracked the cicada code. It can mimic those enticing female chirps with a flick of its long wings and pulsating body. What's remarkable is that this complex deception seems to be hardwired into the katydid's DNA. Since it can mimic the songs of cicadas it's never heard before. This one's detected a likely victim. It answers the male cicada's mating call. A siren song that male cicadas find irresistible. But in these forests, answering the call of love can prove to be a fatal attraction. Drawn by instinct, the unwary victim walks towards mortal danger. And once it's close enough, the katydid uses its powerful back legs to pounce. Once ensnared, a killer bite is delivered to the throat. It's all over. An appetizing midnight snack. It's said that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But sometimes, no matter how good the example set by parents, the kids are naturally prone to antisocial behaviour. The young antlion is a natural-born killer. Among the monsters haunting the desert night, a juvenile delinquent terrorizes the microcosmic underworld. The antlion. It is the nymph phase of the lacewing. The decidedly more elegant adult feeds on pollen, nectar, and the odd aphid. But in its larval stage, the antlion is a menacing carnivore. This natural-born killer is armed to the teeth, literally. Its mandibles resemble sickle blades, and it's not afraid to use them. It preys on passers-by, building a trap, one of the most efficient traps in the animal kingdom. The antlion begins construction by crawling backwards, using its abdomen as a plough, shoveling up the sand. Then throws each little pile clear of the scene. He keeps moving round and round to make the pit deeper. About 3 inches across and 2 inches deep, until the slope is as steep as it can be without collapsing. A death trap. A masterpiece of devious engineering. Hiding just under the surface, it lies in wait for innocent passers-by. Concealed beneath the sand, the larva can sense faint ground vibrations. The spider wanders close, but not close enough. A foraging ant, moving closer. It stumbles into the hole. The antlion launches. But this lucky ant finds its footing and escapes a gruesome death. The predator doesn't have to wait long. Another ant tumbles into the trap, and this one can't get out. The sandy wall is unstable by design. The larva now throws sand at the ant to knock it off balance and creates an avalanche that delivers its victim to its waiting jaws. The antlion injects the ant with venom and enzymes before starting to suck the life out of the still struggling victim. It's as if the earth has opened up and swallowed the ant whole. The antlion's trap provides a ready-made grave. The Australian desert is full of pitfalls. While some assaults come from below, it pays to keep a watchful eye on the sky. Because out here, death can also reign from above. The wedge-tailed eagle is an aerial assassin. Dry, desolate, hostile. Out here, resources are few and far between. Spanning thousands of square miles, the vast expanse of the Australian desert is a silent killer. But some species are well equipped to meet these extreme challenges. Australia's largest bird of prey. With a wingspan of nearly 10 feet, the wedge-tailed eagle. She's an apex predator, soaring high on the food chain. Thanks to her arsenal of deadly weapons. Her hooked beak is for tearing flesh, dead or alive. But it's her wickedly sharp, switchblade-like talons that do the real damage. A fierce hunter and fiercely loyal to her family. Wedge-tailed eagles mate for life. Like Bonnie and Clyde on the wing, this pair works together to provide food for their chicks. Effortlessly soaring upon desert thermals, she scours the searing landscape for prey. Wedge-tailed eagles possess incredible eyesight. Each eye has a bony ring that can be squeezed to elongate the eyeball, acting like a zoom lens, seeing prey up to 2 miles away. Even the largest of kangaroos need to be wary of an aerial assault. Movement amongst the boulders has caught her eye. Quick and nimble, rock wallabies are difficult moving targets. They navigate the rocky outcrops with all the agility of a mountain goat. The wallabies know they're being hunted and scramble. Their best chance of survival is to find cover. For those that don't, it's open season. Her lethal talons quickly dispatch the hapless prey, tearing flesh from bone. Her curved beak makes short work of the carcass. A kill of this size is enough to feed the entire family. The pair has 2 chicks, recently hatched and voraciously hungry. There's no rest for the adult eagles, as the kids constantly demand their pound of flesh. Creatures of the plains beware. These winged assailants have an insatiable appetite. Australian deserts harbour some of the world's most notorious killers. But there's one that stands out from the crowd. A hitman with a terrifying reputation. Its famed bite contains enough lethal toxins to commit mass murder. The inland taipan. Australian deserts are home to a disproportionate number of venomous reptiles, armed with chemical weapons that kill with horrifying efficiency. But of all the world's venomous snakes, the inland taipan is the supreme master. One drop of its venom would kill 250,000 mice in a matter of seconds, or 100 men in under an hour. But in order to feed, this 6-foot-long female must first locate a victim. Luckily, she's armed with more than venom. Tasting the air, her tongue picks up the slightest clue. Just a molecule of scent gives the prey away. is a potential victim, and it's close. This cold-blooded killer prefers warm-blooded prey. Native rodents spend the daylight hours in the cool of their underground burrow. But just like the caves of the desert, burrows are no safe haven. The taipan's smooth, glossy scales allow for a silent approach. As she gets closer, her keen vision helps to pinpoint the source of the scent. If these agile rodents sense her presence, they will try to escape or lash out with sharp claws and teeth. A silent assassin. She uses the shadows to approach her chosen target, undetected. It's all over in the blink of an eye. Neurotoxins quickly paralyze the victim, while hemotoxins start to break down the rat from the inside. Chalking up yet another notch on her belt, this proficient killer won't need to eat again for several weeks. Which is good news for the other creatures of the desert. Forged by extremes, the predators of Australia's deserts are built tough. They cheat and steal, stalk and con, slash and maim. Deadly Australians that will do whatever it takes to survive in this arid wasteland.